What do PhD supervisors look for in applicants, especially when they're interviewing them, to be able to be one of their students? Stick around, let's talk about it today in this episode of Navigating Academia. What's up, Navigating Academia family? This is your buddy and personal academic mentor, Dr. Phoenix Singh, coming at you to be able to answer a valued viewer's question that I got just the other day, but it's one that I think could be of interest to so many of you that I decided to be able to make a video on it, because today we're going to be discussing a topic of great importance to anyone considering pursuing a PhD or any other doctoral program for that matter, which is what do PhD supervisors look for in applicants, particularly in the context of an interview, but just, overall in general as well. A lot of the things I'm going to be talking about during the interview process, supervisors, if they are interviewing you, are going to try to ascertain this kind of information in different ways. You guys know me if you are a subscriber to the channel, and if you're not, please be sure to subscribe. I'll tell you right now, there are so many tips and tricks for interviews that we don't have time to be able to go over today. Obviously, we have so many videos about it. If you want everything in one place and the literal answers to all 40 of the most challenging interview questions that you're going to get asked in PhD programs, then be sure to check out Publication Academy down here. I have a course specifically about interview preparation for grad programs. It's going to walk you through everything, all right? But for today, just remember, applying to a PhD program can be a long and arduous process. I do consultations on the daily with so many of you who I love to death. You guys can book one-on-one sessions with me down here at gradschoolapplicationcoach.com. And I will tell you right now, with so many of you, you are so stressed. I was stressed, my goodness. And one of the most stressful things is that we just don't know how to be able to prep these things, like personal statements, diversity statements, and so forth. Sometimes it's hard to know what our supervisors want, and we're not even in grad school yet, right? So it's important to be able to know what kind of qualities and skills a potential supervisor is going to be looking for in an applicant. So let's just dive right in, okay? So first and foremost, a PhD supervisor is going to be looking for passion and commitment to your field of study. They want to see that you have a deep and genuine interest in your area of research and that you're eager to delve into it at a deeper level, and not just any area of research, their area of research, okay? Remember, you are the soldier, they are the general. They want somebody who's going to follow their research line, not try to do their own thing and have the expectation that they're going to teach you how to be able to do it. That is not how grad school works. Even if you end up hearing that to be claimed in things like info sessions and all for a given program, I'm just telling you right now, practically speaking, that is not how it works, all right? But if you do end up showing that you know what you're talking about in the field, particularly when it comes to the latest scholarship that's being published in the research line that your target supervisor is interested in, and also if you happen to know anything about the grants that they currently have, sometimes the grant applications that they have in terms of grants they are currently funded by, those are available online. You can find them. So how do you do that? Go to their CV. I want you to take a look at their grants or their funding section. They'll call it different things. Take a look at the grants that they are currently funded by, and then I want you to go ahead and Google the exact names of them and see what you can find. Sometimes, even if it's a situation where you can't find the application, sometimes you can still find peer-reviewed publications that fall under that particular research line that was funded by that grant. Because usually these grants are multiple years and they can be literally upwards of millions of dollars depending on the research line. It's pretty amazing, all right? But the more that you show that you are up to date on their research literature, the more that you are going to show that you have the drive and determination to be able to complete one of these programs because you've done your background research already. You're showing that you want to make a meaningful contribution to the field. The second thing that a target supervisor is going to be looking for is that they're going to want to see evidence of your research potential and ability. So this could include anything from research experience, like, working as a research assistant or, working as a lab manager even, getting peer-reviewed publications, taking a look at academic honors that you may end up having, especially if you've won awards of any kind for research you've done, like a poster award, a paper award, a travel award, any of these things. If you've done a senior honors thesis, any of those things, showcasing your previous work and demonstrating your ability to conduct original research, I promise you right now, is a huge plus in the eyes of a target supervisor. And this also means that you should be familiar with the latest developments, like I've mentioned, and trends in your field, and have a clear understanding of not just what's been done, but what are the questions that have not been answered and the challenges challenges that need to be addressed in the research line of the target supervisor. You have to trust me that knowing kind of the state of play in the field is incredibly important in this process to be able to show your supervisor that you know what's up. Third, a supervisor is going to be interested in your communication and interpersonal skills. If they're going to be supervising you for anywhere between 4 to 7 years, I promise you right now, they care about can they get along with you. And you know as well as I do that even just based not only on what you say, but how you say it, not just verbally, but also non-verbally, is really key here. Remember that when it comes to gestural affect, intonation, as well as, facial affect, usually within a matter, in some cases, milliseconds, if you take a look at thin slice research, as it's called in social psychology, people are going to make assumptions about you. And they're going to try to detect whether or not you are in their quote unquote in-group, just in terms of your personality and their personality. So make sure my recommendation is to be able to watch YouTube videos or listen to podcasts, anything where you can see them or hear them to get a sense of their energy level and their style and try to calibrate yourself to it. You could be a really introverted person who's got very low energy. If you've got somebody interviewing you like me, I am high energy, I'm intense, that's just my personality. It's very important that you try to match that and try to up your energy level. A lot of times, because I'm an energetic guy, when I was doing my doctoral applications and doing interviews for those doctoral programs, I do tone myself way down, as you can imagine, and that's fine because I'm not in charge, right? I'm a soldier. I am not the general at that stage of my career. It's important to be able to really embrace that role that you are the apprentice and not the master yet, okay? Keep in mind that a PhD program, it often involves working with others most of the time, whether it's in a lab setting or not. Your supervisor is going to want to see that you have the ability to work effectively with the team and also communicate with others and to be able to communicate the findings of your research clearly and effectively. And one way to be able to predict that is how they're communicating with you in the interview, okay? And so that's really, really key. These good communication skills are also essential for presenting your research at conferences, and it does, correlate highly to how you're going to write your peer-reviewed publications that you're hopefully going to prepare during your doctorate, and also how to be able to write up funding proposals for things like grants, and just working with stakeholders and other partners in your field. I'm a clinical psychologist. Oftentimes we're working with policymakers. Oftentimes we're working with clinicians in the field. It could just any kind of community stakeholder, individuals who run things like soup kitchens and homeless shelters and domestic violence shelters and so forth. We're working with these individuals. If you can't get along with other people, this is going to be a problem no matter how brilliant you are, okay? So that's number 3. Fourth, the supervisor is going to be looking for strong critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Sometimes they'll ask you ridiculous questions to be able to evaluate that, but in some cases they're going to be asking you things that are more situation-based. So for example, an interview question that I usually help you with if you are a consult client of mine is, imagine that you're doing a group project and you got 2 students, student A and student B, and what you're finding is that neither of them is contributing sufficiently to the project. They're not getting their work done. And you kind of query about this, you ask them about it, and student A unfortunately has had a death in the family, and because of that, they've had to travel quite a bit. It's a time of grief for them. Person B though, student B, is literally just partying and they're not really prioritizing the group project and so forth. And so the interview question could be explaining that circumstance and then saying, how would you deal with that circumstance to be able to ensure that you get an A on the project? Okay, and there's a lot of ways to be able to go about it. I won't spoil it in terms of what the answer is, right? But these are the sorts of things that require critical thinking and problem-solving skills in the context of the doctoral program itself, okay? Understandably, pursuing a PhD requires a great deal of independence and the ability to tackle complex problems on your own. And your supervisor is going to want to make sure that you have the ability to think critically and creatively and to find innovative solutions to complex research questions as well as to personal problems that you may run into. In addition, being able to design and implement experiments, analyze data, and interpret results, these are also critical skills that supervisors are going to look for in applicants, okay? And last but not least, fifth, a supervisor is going to want to see evidence of your motivation and self-direction. Self-direction being the key thing here. Undergrad is different than graduate school, okay? Grad school independence is key, and you need what we refer to as an internal locus of control. You are the captain of your own ship. You are not just on the seas and you're a boat and you're going around and, oh, my supervisor told me to do it, so I did it. That was me my first year of my doctorate. I did a really bad job my first year of my doctorate. I just thought that, well, the supervisor's job is to teach me everything I need to know, and I'm just going to listen to him, and I'll get through the program. And this was just not true at all. This is going to require a significant amount of your time, your effort, your dedication, and you need to be able to make sure that you've got the drive and the self-discipline to teach yourself what you need to learn. Everything from reading the literature, finding the literature to read, and then reading it and understanding it, and stats and methods. You need to learn these things on your own, and that is stressful. And I totally understand, and your supervisor or target supervisor, because they're interviewing you, right, wants to make sure you understand that. I call it the grad school reality check family of questions, and these are ones that are going to try to answer whether or not you actually get what you're getting yourself into, and whether or not you're able to set clear goals and objectives for your research, and then manage your time and resources effectively so you can make steady progress towards your research goals, okay? Now, the last thing that I'm going to mention here is, you want to obviously make sure that the supervisor knows that you've got a killer work ethic. This is obviously going to be shown, though, through your experiences and through information on your CV, so on and so forth. But these are really the key things that supervisors are looking for when they're interviewing you. Remember, personal connections trump everything. My recommendation, if you watch my other videos, is that it's basically at least an 18-month process of getting to know the target supervisor personally, not just sending them an email 3 months before you apply. That is not a personal connection. I'm guaranteeing you, and I know it's kind of sad, but it's true, I smile because it happened to me, right? If you end up sending an email to folks and you get an email back from a target supervisor saying, wow, what a great CV. Thank you for sending it along. You seem like a very strong candidate. Please go ahead and submit your materials. Oftentimes we get so excited, we're like, yes, we're a strong candidate. But that's pretty much like a forum email that we send people. The majority of grad student supervisors end up doing that. And so sometimes all of us as applicants, we come away thinking I have a particularly good shot getting into that particular program. Usually not true. Don't take it personally. It's just one of these things. Just one of these things. Academia is weird. So that's all that I've got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to be able to follow us on social media at these links below or at these handles below, and also be sure to share this video with your friends, colleagues, and students. I appreciate you guys. Again, check out publicationacademy.com. God bless you guys, or gradschoolapplicationcoach.com. And be sure to be able to tune in for the next episode. God bless you, and peace. Thank you so much for stopping by, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here as always. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more in this series on navigating academia, please click on one of these links over here to be able to view more original content. I hope to see you there.